But here we go. Gnoll, Wanderer, of course. And I've probably used up most of the names that I've thought of, but we're gonna start off here today with, do I want to be Ned? I could be Nikolai. I'm gonna be Nikolai instead. Let's go with that, shall we? So what have we got? Don't know any spells yet, but we have Sandblast, Magic Dart, Stone Arrow. That's a half decent start for sure. Where do we begin? Probably just learn some Magic Dart action at 10 MP. Holy moly. Right, I went in to do skilling, but that's not how this works. Oh, we don't actually start with any conjuration training, but we do start with earth magic. Interesting. So we got this Gnoll. He was out for a smoke and found the dungeon. Yeah, exactly. Just stumbled our way in. We don't even know what we're doing here yet, but much like most dungeon protagonists, we're looking to murder everything. Yeah, 9 spellcasting, which is why we have this ridiculous magic pool, as well as we had 18 spell levels right off the rip. Pretty wild stuff. In fact, we might as well learn Sandblast now that I think about it. It's a very interesting start to say the least. But let's get all of our auto pickup ready, and last but not least, do a quick little dump file. And if you'll give me just a moment to navigate into my morgues here. Into there, into crawl, morgue. And if my computer doesn't want to freak out, wants to open, there we go, fantastic. Onto Nikolai's morgue file, because I will grab the game seed and swap out the one on screen just in case any of you lovely folks want to play along at home and see how you fare in the same dungeon. You can feel free to do so. Okie dokie. And with that, let's swap away from the polymorph wand so we don't accidentally use that immediately. Almost die to the first enemies we come across. Perfect. Exactly what you want to see. But yeah, we have an absurd number of spell casts at any given opportunity here, so we can kind of just blast our way through all 10 magic, 12 now. Beautiful. I probably will also swap out to a trident here. Of course, that's, as always, one of the main beauties of playing a Gnoll, is that we can pretty freely switch into every single weapon that we come across to whatever our heart so desires. And that's always quite wonderful. So we'll be using a mixture of our starting spells and our trident here for the first few floors of the dungeon. Hopefully it has what it takes to make it on by. Be training a bit of conjurations as we go about it, probably dumping most of our attribute points into intelligence. And otherwise, let's just murder these sons of guns. There we go. Beautiful. Little bit closer than I care to admit, but we still managed to make it through here. That's quite the boon indeed, boss level. And okie dokie, we have a sling available to us as well here. Magic and ranged, it's not the best combination, just because usually I'd prefer one over the other depending on what our current setup is looking like. But we can still carry around the sling as a potential backup option. If we happen to go through all of our magic points immediately in an encounter and still have enemies coming from far away, then hey, there's a time for the sling to shine. And beautiful. Let's actually head back to our stairs temporarily here and take a look. So Stone Arrow at 16% failure. It's a bit rough, but we'll at least learn it, so as it continues to come down here, we can have that available to us. Beautiful, and there we go. Finally starting to get our first skill points. Ooh, +6 Ring of Int will also help out a great deal, already bringing our Stone Arrow down to 10% failure. That is just lovely. Let's try to murder that snake before we have too much poison coming our way. Jeez Louise. And otherwise, we'll just keep on keeping on. It's going to be tempting to swap into a bit of a more melee-focused build to begin with here, seeing as how magic is going to be a little bit tricky to get online. Of course, dependent on the situation and how things go. Wait, where the heck was that cloak? There we go. Fantastic. Throw that bad boy on. But I guess, yeah, what I was basically getting to is it's a bit more straightforward at the very least to just slap on the heaviest armor you can find, because then at the very least you have some defensive capabilities. But we will be playing it by ear here as we pick up a wonderful little robe. So that's something. Bit more intelligence, which means stone arrows at 8%. That's pretty castable in my books. At least if we come across any big uniques or anything like that, you can pretty safely start slinging that bad boy around. Maybe we'll at the very least pick up this leather armor as an option to swap to, as long as it doesn't hurt our casting too much. And hello, my orc friends. Ooh. Manifold Assault and Stormform. Oh, DCSS, you shouldn't have. How lovely. I guess I could also change the stream title. That would help. Gnoll begins. Let's do that now before I immediately forget to do so again. Fantastic. And now we can focus on just getting through the first few levels of the dungeon. I'm hoping nothing too fanciful happens here. It should be pretty straightforward, all things considered. Kind of be grabbing everything that I can possibly take hold of here. I guess that's the main downside, the main disadvantage to Gnolls, is that I'm going to have a very difficult time with inventory management, because it is such a consistent temptation to just pick up literally every object that you come across, because you could potentially find yourself using it at some point in the future. But we'll see how it goes as we finish off D3 here. Wonderful. We did get that buckler, so we know that we have that as a good potential option for us. Also immediately finding the temple, and there is Go's Egg. So yeah, I'm not going to do anything too interesting with the gods here. I will, I think, go with Go's Egg, 'cause I'm hoping to just make the most ridiculously overpowered 15 rune Gnoll I can. And part of that plan is to go with giant money bags in the sky here, so that's beautiful. And then let's try to find this ossuary, shall we? +2 hat. Don't mind if I do. Fantastic. And as soon as you're in range of our sandblast, we'll swap over to that. And we hear the hiss very nearby. Okay, so it's gotta be close, seeing as how that's what nearby means and all of that. So let's take a peek, shall we? Maybe it's just up around this corner? Still getting nearby, so yes, I'm guessing it's somewhere over here. Beautiful. Evening, how am I doing today? Hey, Remlema, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much. Thanks for asking. How are you doing? How's your weekend? I hope things have been well on your end. Always lovely to see you, my friend. And okie dokie, let's see what we're dealing with. Should probably clear out... Trying to think of how we can best avoid all of the alarm traps here. Man, human zombie? Kind of frightening. 8 damage, so we can't die in one hit, so I'm going to swap over to our Sandblast just to do what Sandblast does best and start blasting. In fact, potentially we just want to Sandblast or even Stone Arrow all these sons of guns. So you just moved to Calgary, first impression, holy cow, the raps are huge, and you've heard Rude by Magic far too many times to be reasonable on pub music stations. I'd say in general, the radio station what's the word I'm even looking for? I guess like frequency of songs is unreasonably high. So whatever the new hotness is, that's always going to be just constantly and consistently being played. And yeah, the rabbits for sure, especially there are a couple parts of the city, a couple in the northwest in particular, that are famous for their both size of rabbits and a multitude of them, because they're just absurd numbers of those sons of guns. Let's see, you are slow, my friend. So let's actually do a little loop-de-loop action. Try to stone arrow you again. Unfortunately, doesn't quite get the job done. But we'll just ring around the rosy here a little bit. But I guess in general, welcome to Caligari Ramlama. I hope you enjoy your time here. I would try to give recommendations for hot spots around town or fun things to do, but unfortunately, I'm not actually super familiar with the city. I've lived here for quite a while, but I don't exactly get out a heck of a lot. In fact, it was only relatively recently, since getting a job downtown, that I've started to more actively try to explore the downtown area and try to find good venues, mostly for food. There are so many good places to eat. It's kind of dangerous because I feel like it's a slippery slope before I'm just constantly buying food every single day, because it's just so delicious. But there we go. So that ossuary is going to be a nice little boost to power early on here. Fun little smattering of consumables for us to take into account. And let's see what else we find on this floor before we keep the move on and head into the next area of the game. No priests? Okay, no orc priests. Fantastic. I will take it. And we'll finish exploring the area. Every single spell book you love to see definitely starts to add up and give us a wonderful selection of spells to pick from here. We're not with Sif, so we will have to kind of just hope that we get a lot of spell access as we continue forward. I mean, it helps to be part of Gozag for sure, don't get me wrong, because following Gozag, you at least have the, infinite money over the course of an infinite run, so you can probably buy your way to victory at some point or another. But okay, let's go buy this bloodstained glaive now that we have enough money to do so, and hopefully it's something good. +6 glaive of Zokotata. Very slow attack, but good damage. Venomous is not great for a slow and heavy hitting weapon, but let's try it out. The +6 might still pay dividends here, so we'll give it a shot. Hey Brain, how's it going? Good to see you, my friend. I hope things are going well for you. I guess one potential option here, if I swap into slightly heavier armor going up to 9 AC, how are we looking? No more stone arrow, but everything else is still kind of an option, particularly sandblast. Oh, hey. Looks like we have a wild pickle? Oh gosh. The slow is kind of rough though. Let's try to read a scroll here. Our most prevalent scroll is blinking. Oh, that's kind of unfortunate. Okay, 9 more damage. You deal up to 15. 38% chance to evade our weapon. Let's maybe chug a curing, and that should give us enough hit points to get through the encounter at least. Beautiful. Like the name. Thank you. Love it. Hey, Railbird, how's it going? Nice to see you as well, friend. I hope you're all doing wonderfully this weekend. It's a beautiful Sunday and wonderful. So yeah, it's going to be an unreasonable amount of time before we have min delay on this glaive, but hopefully at some point in the relatively near future we at least bring it down to a reasonable level. And then it will have a decent amount of damage to more than make up for the fact. I guess the other consideration there is that we may just want to cross our fingers that we find a better weapon. But okay, there we go. And we can definitely take Pickle up with just one of the Lemures. Fantastic. There we go. Managed to make it through without murdering any of the poor innocent souls, as we always try our best to do. And beautiful. And now the experience will hopefully start coming in fast and furious. +3 sling? Sure, I'll take it. Swap that out for our current one. Okay, that could have gone poorly against the ogre just by how long it takes us to swing our weapon, but it all works out at the end of the day here. Keep going into intelligence for now. It's tempting to potentially put some points into strength. If we ever want to wear heavy armor, or heavier armor, while still maintaining our ability to cast spells, then we'll need strength to do so. The kind of potential flip side to that is that we could always just cross our fingers and hope that we get good equipment to offset those issues. I've definitely had such luck in the past, so it's not impossible by any stretch of the imagination. Not always something you can rely on though. Okay, do you know what? Let's just exclude you for now, my horsey friend. Not looking to get into any horsing around quite yet, but we'll almost definitely be coming back for you in the near future. And otherwise we'll just finish off the rest of this floor here. Everything going relatively smoothly. Wait, why is there a vampire here? Well, let's read that scroll, which is not great. We can try this one though. Feel unstable. So there's the teleportation that I was actually looking for. Wonderful. That'll just get us the heck out of there for the time being. Perfect. Oh, my kobold friends, why must we squabble amongst one another? Oh, okay, whatever treasure was sitting there is apparently gone now. Interesting. The game's balancing out, giving me a +6 glaive by d6. Be careful. Ah, yes. DCSS giveth, and DCSS taketh away. And yet I'm still just going to immediately head back into the thick of it and hope that I come across these Sons of Guns in a bit more of a reasonable setup. Confusion is not great. In fact, almost definitely is too late to start the teleport here. Whoopsie daisies. Let's hope we don't land right next to the centaur, I guess. And oh, I was hoping the curing would keep us alive. Oh, why do I do this to myself, folks? Just immediately head back to fight the vampire. Completely unnecessary. If you're playing at home, do as I say, not as I do, because oh boy, do I sometimes make terrible decisions. But hey, all in the name of good fun here. Nikolai, you know, just didn't quite have what it takes here, so let's jump back into it. And this time, let's go with Nathaniel. Perfect. At least the memory of Grunter is still fresh, right? That can hold us over and keep us thinking positively here. So let's take a look at what we get this time. A little bit of spellcasting, bit of Evo, ranged weapons, axes at 10. What the heck? Our Wanderer starts keep getting everything thrown into one stat. That Dengarg made everything look so easy. It was a thing of beauty for sure. But okie dokie, let's do the usual routine here, getting everything ready and sending out another morgue file for Nathaniel. Because we will steal the seed once again, since this one's going to go the distance, so you'll definitely want to be able to join along from at home and see how you fare in the dungeon. And with that, let's get going. Ooh, immediately get an absurd number of stones. Interesting. And we do have access to a faded altar, but again, we very much have specific plans going forward on this run, so for the moment here, we'll just be leaving that bad boy alone. Or, not really for the moment, for the run, I should say more honestly. Ooh, but there we go. We can actually use the repulsion scarf this time, seeing as how we don't already have a cloak for the AC. That is beautiful. Now, not starting with any spells, at least I don't think we did. No, indeed we did not. Does mean that we'll just have to be on the lookout over the course of our journey for some spell books, and hopefully they do make an appearance, because I would like to transition to that. Again, I almost definitely should have been playing Nikolai a little closer to the chest, because we got a very nice selection of spells early on. But hey, such is the DCSS life, and so for now we'll just blitz our way through. We'll have a really good advantage in the early game with just how highly trained our axes are. Attacking at below once per turn, or faster than once per turn I should say, this early in the dungeon is just a huge boon. So hopefully we can transition that into a successful early game here. We'll have to see how it goes, of course. And otherwise, we will just mainly be holding tab as we make our way forward. We got a bit of extra strength and dex this time as well. That bit of extra strength will help us wear slightly heavier armors as we transition into spellcasting capacity, so that is just lovely. And otherwise we will probably be dumping most of our attribute points from level ups into intelligence, just so that it's, you know, at least reasonable for us to be casting spells once we do manage to get a hold of them here. Otherwise, we're on the lookout for any kind of magical weapons, hopefully an axe, since we will very likely be sticking with axes for the early game. But I would be happy with basically any early artifacts at the end of the day. It's hard to complain. We did see another pair of gloves, but I think I'm happy to keep with the matching set here. Oh, Natasha, I always hate having to murder you, but such is life sometimes, I guess, so we'll have to do so to begin with, and then maybe we just head on down so that I don't accidentally run into you again. Definitely would like to do my best not to murder any innocent cats here today. Oh hey, look, it's the original Grunter. How about that? Poor buddy, never got too far. Holy moly. Okay. Fire resistance, cold resistance, negative resistance, and strength +4. Gosh darn it. Well, now's where the game has to again start to punish us, because there's no shot I get away with finding such an incredible artifact ring on D4. Holy moly. So any second now, let's get the other shoe to drop game. Just get it over with. I mean, Steam Dragon, like, could be the thing here. Do you want a jib? Let's just take you upstairs, my friend. Ooh, okay, yeah, that was way closer than it had any right to be. We will take the heavier armor. Pop up these stairs. In fact, let's just head to the other one while we're waiting. Switch into this. And I would prefer not to go through a trapdoor. But definitely let's try to stay away from Natasha. There we go. Fantastic. We are at D4, which... Is that start of temple? That is start of temple. So we do have to potentially be on the lookout for that, since we do want to follow Gozeg as soon as we can. Oh my gosh, I just realized what the shop is. One-of-a-kind rings, +7 ring of protection, +10 ring of dexterity. Holy moly, I wish that was intelligence. Jeez Louise. Artifacts, suddenly not looking too fancy here. I guess we could take a +1 ring of protection temporarily here. That's pretty dang cheap. And every little bit helps. Sure, it's not fantastic, but it's something. is quite literally something.